20 plus tropical summer cologne fragrances for men. I'm looking for fragrances that have things like coconut, maybe mango, maybe guava, passion fruit, pineapple. These are kind of those tropical fruits, and each of these fragrances is going to be a summery fragrance with some of those notes emphasized. This one's focused on cologne fragrances. I have another one that is focused on designer and niche, and they'll release back to back. I don't know which one first. But we're gonna dive into this big list. We're gonna move quickly, but before we begin, remember to make a tropical drink of some sort for the like button and give the button a click if you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into these. So first up, we're going to talk about a couple different alternatives to Jean Paul Gaultier Leau Paradise Garden. This, of course, is a fragrance that is built on the DNA of Leau. The first one that I want to mention to you is Tribal Exotic by Grandeur. And this fragrance DNA is basically that coconut tonka bean DNA from the original Leau, but there is a little bit of a green aromatic vibe added with some mint. There's a little bit of a saltiness as well, like think salt water kind of a fragrance. And this one has also a touch of something that reminds me of like a melon kind of fruitiness. So a little bit green, a different kind of melony kind of sweetness. And it really does have a very tropical feel as the other Leau fragrances do. Again, this one is Tribal Exotic. Pretty good stuff and pretty close to the original as well. The next alternative to Leau Paradise Garden is this one from Lattafa. This one is a beast performer. This is one of those 10+ hour freshies, which is kind of unusual. The fact that it's a sweet freshie helps. This one is called Najdia Intense. And this one, again, quite close to the original, although I would say the mint, that kind of aromatic fuzziness from the mint, is a little bit stronger in this one. So I would say it's a slightly more aromatic take on Paradise Garden. Still smells great. The other notes, as I mentioned, are captured very well. And I would say out of the two, this one does have better performance. Again, this is Najdia Intense. The next one's a new pickup for me. I've been loving this stuff. I've been wearing it a lot. It is very sweet and wouldn't work in the daytime in the full 95-degree heat for me, but I've been loving it at night, and it is definitely tropical. This one is Cadillage Forsan White, and it's actually an alternative to Matier's Vanilla Powder. And this is basically a vanilla and coconut and heliotrope, which smells like almond in this fragrance. So kind of a powdery, quite sweet vanilla almond fragrance with a very noticeable coconut vibe. That's of course where the tropical notes come in. And man, this stuff smells fantastic. It is strong, very long lasting. I'll spray it on 8 or 9 at night and it's still on my arm when I get into the shower 12 hours later. And so really good stuff, but you have to like sweet fragrances. Some guys would find this one is too feminine, but for me, it's perfect. We've got another coconut fragrance here, a wonderful coconut fragrance, and it is a ozonic coconut fragrance that reminds me a whole lot of Virgin Island water. Now, it doesn't have a boozy note. It's not quite as sweet as Virgin Island water, and the texture is a little different with some violet leaf, giving it that ozonic kind of a feel. Not a ton, just a little bit. But if you want something that's kind of like a twist on Virgin Island water, this stuff is awesome. I haven't found performance on this one to be too impressive. It's probably like maybe a 5 or 6 hour fragrance, but man, it smells really good. From Ministry of Gourmand, this is Coconut Lagoon. Actually from Paris Corner, Ministry of Gourmand, Coconut Lagoon. And another one featuring coconut, and this one may also be inspired by a fragrance I've already talked about. Which one do you think it might be? Of course, this is an alternative to Leau, the original Leau. And this fragrance, I remember whenever it came out, watching a review where somebody said it basically just smells like coconut and tonka bean. And I thought, I don't know if you know, it's not what I was expecting. I was expecting something a little more kind of light and airy and summer focused. So I actually didn't pick up anything Leau for probably a year after it came out until I smelled it. And then I thought, yeah, this is really good stuff. This one from Fragrance World, Jean Gustave Homme Amaze, really captures the Leau DNA. I would say there is just a touch more of a synthetic vibe with this one as compared to the original, but it is very close to the original Leau. And it is a tropical fragrance, obviously featuring coconut and tonka bean, but it's not, you know, as sweet and heavy as something like the Cologne for Sun White. It does actually work well in the summer, maybe a little better in summer evenings, but I have worn it in 90-degree weather. So again, this is Fragrance World's alternative to Leau. This next one is a mango fragrance, and I love it. It is a great performer. It's powerful, it projects, and it's quite unique as well. This is Fragrance World King of Diamonds, and this one is an alternative to Aventus Narcosis. And it is a mix of mango with coffee. And it doesn't necessarily come across like coffee, but it mixes with some other notes, like there is a green facet to this fragrance. There is a touch of woodiness, and all those together, it's kind of the perfect mix of some powerful sweet mango with some dark green, kind of woody fragrance notes, even a touch of a spiciness. And it is so unique and so very good, and I love this fragrance. King of Diamonds from Fragrance World, if I didn't say so. Now I'm going to mention several from Zoha Aroma, and I could have put several more from them. They just have some awesome tropical fragrances. This one right here is Mango Crush. This one's an alternative to SHL God of Fire, a really hyped fragrance over the past 6 months or so. And you've got notes, of course, like mango. You've also got some red berries, almost like a waxy red berry. But then you've also got some cedar. You've got a touch of oud. You've got some amber and musk. So it's not all fruitiness. There is actually quite a base to this fragrance as well, which really balances out the sweetness of the mango. Definitely a unisex fragrance, but one that I've enjoyed wearing. Again, this is Zoha's take on God of Fire Mango Crush. This next one's an alternative to Xerjoff Torino 24, another powerfully mango-focused fragrance. This one is Mango Melody. This one is really, really good. I think I like this one a little better than the God of Fire DNA. It's got notes of bergamot, mango, plum, mandarin, lotus, styrax, white musk, moss, and patchouli. And this is, again, another mango-focused, obviously, summer fragrance. So it's got a good bit of sweetness, but those base notes, again, really balance out the sweet notes like plum and mango that are in the opening. Really unique. It doesn't smell much like God of Fire. That one's a little more kind of tart mango focused. I would say this one's a little more deep, a little more complex with some of those notes like the patchouli that's in the base. So really good stuff here. Mango Melody, alternative to Xerjoff 24, Torino 24. This next one's an alternative to Lorenzo Pizzaglia Summer Hammer. This is Tropical Fury. This is probably my favorite out of the Zoha fragrances I've just shown you. This one has got a boozy note, and it's got mango, but it's also got some coconut. You've also got some bergamot, some pineapple, some rum, and some sandalwood. This one is like a coconut mango mixed drink. And this one, the coconut's a little more forward. The last two, mango was kind of the prominent note. This stuff is so good. Tropical Fury. Again, alternative to Summer Hammer. All right, next, this one is actually an alternative to Virgin Island water, whereas Coconut Lagoon is just similar to it. This one is Chez Pierre Feels Like Summer. And this is a pretty good alternative to Virgin Island water. I think Virgin Island water is one of the most wonderful summer fragrances ever created. I don't know why Lattafa and Aroma and Fragrance World and all these other brands haven't done a version. To me, it is mind-blowing that we don't have a great, cheap, mass-produced version of virgin olive and water. But that's one reason I love some of these smaller clone houses, is you get a wider selection, and virgin olive and water is fantastic. It is, again, another kind of mixed drink type fragrance. You've got some coconut, you've got some lime, you've got a boozy note, and they did a really good job of capturing it. I would say this one has average performance. It's probably in that 6-hour range or so, but it is excellent. I mean, you can see by how much I've worn of the fragrance. Feels like summer from Chez Pierre. Next one is from Generic Perfumes, another alternative to virgin olive and water. This is their take on that wonderful Creed DNA. And this one is a lot like Feels Like Summer, because Feels Like Summer is a lot like virgin olive and water. The difference with this one is it does last a little longer. If the last one is a 5 to 6 hour fragrance, this one's probably more like a 7-hour fragrance. So again, from Generic Perfumes, their take on virgin olive and water. This next fragrance is one of my favorite summer fragrances ever. It's actually a dupe of Juliet Has a Gun Vanilla Vibes, which I used to own. I got rid of even though I loved it because the performance was horrible. Well, this is from Dossier. This is Aquatic Vanilla. And whereas the Juliet Has a Gun fragrance was like a 2-hour scent on my skin, this is literally like a 12 to 14-hour fragrance. I don't know how they accomplished that, but this is kind of like that suntanning oil style fragrance with a bunch of vanilla and some coconut. It is kind of an ozonic, light, solar notes kind of a fragrance. It is a compliment monster, as that style of fragrance typically is. So this one is excellent. Again, Aquatic Vanilla. Very similar to the original, just has a little more coconut than the original does. Now we're going to shift gears a little bit, and where the first half of the video were just straight up tropical summer fragrances, the rest of these are, they have tropical characteristics. I think of them as kind of tropical fragrances in some sense, but they're not as purely summer tropical as the ones that I just showed you. You'll see what I mean in just a moment. For instance, this one does not have any of the notes that I just mentioned, I don't think, as far as the tropical fruity notes. But what this one does have is an aquatic, sea, marine kind of a feel, as well as some salt, like salt water. It's got a bunch of summer fruits notes mixed in there. It's also got some ambergris. I'm talking about this alternative to Creed's Millésime Imperial. This is, of course, Armaf's Club de Nuit Milestone, and it's excellent. You know, ambergris comes from the sea, the aquatic notes, the salt, all of that is the by the ocean kind of a feel, and the wonderful summer fruits, kind of soft summer fruits. It's a great fragrance, and to me, it's it has very much of a tropical kind of a vibe. Really good stuff, Milestone. All right, next up, this one features passion fruit, and I love this DNA, and passion fruit to me is kind of a tropical fruit, but it's a little different than you might think. This is Zoha Aroma's alternative to Oud Maracuja, passion for oud, and the passion fruit in this fragrance is out of this world. I have other alternatives to Oud Maracuja, but this one, oh, I mean, the sweet, powerful passion fruit, it is just mouth-watering. They did such a phenomenal job with it. This is a dark, inky oud fragrance, which sounds like it would be very niche and unappealing to most people. This one has surprisingly been a compliment getter and quite mass-pleasing, very surprisingly. I love the way it smells. This one and the other alternatives that I have, so very good. Passion for Oud from Zoha Aroma. Next up, this one was a pineapple fragrance that got tons of hype because it was dirt cheap, an original fragrance from Lattafa. I'm talking about Kea Alfursan, and this is still cheap today, but it was cheap whenever it came out. This is basically pineapple, saffron, and woods, and I loved this fragrance for maybe 6 months or so, but for some reason, something about the kind of metallic, bitter edge from the saffron and woods became unappealing to me, so I haven't worn it much lately, but a lot of people still love this fragrance, and I think it's deserved. Again, Kea Alfursan. This one is a stronger take on almost the same DNA. This one's got a little more sweetness. I love the opening to this fragrance. Afnan 9 PM Rebel. It's a monster performer. It's one that after a shower, you'll probably still smell it on you. Very, very similar to the one that I just showed you. Again, there's just a little bit of more of a sweetness in the opening. And unfortunately, after this one sits on my skin for about 30 minutes, I get the same off-putting vibe from the saffron in the woods. Although I think this is a me thing and not a fragrance thing because, again, many people really still love this DNA. Off and On 9 PM Rebel. Next up, a twist on a fragrance that features pineapple prominently. This is Aroma Club de Nuit Pre-Show 1, and it is, of course, a Creed Absolu Aventus alternative. And that is, of course, a twist on Aventus that did keep the pineapple. You've got a little bit of a different aromatic vibe. You've got less of that kind of oak mossy kind of a aromatic vibe in this one. It's a little more focused on the sweetness. So I love this fragrance. I actually like it better than Absolu Aventus because there is a pear caramel sweetness that is added to this one that I think makes it perfect. Again, this one is Aroma Club de Nuit Pre-Show 1, Extrait de Parfum, one of the highest quality releases from Aroma, and I think worth every penny if you can get it in that, say, $50 to $55 range. You might want to check it out. If you want one that is just straight Absolu Aventus, Generic Perfumes has done a very good job in just mimicking the DNA. It doesn't have that pear caramel thing going on. It's just really close to Absolu Aventus, and this DNA, the Aroma I just showed you, it's a compliment getter. It's very mass pleasing. I love it, and you know, many people seem to love it as well. So this one's just straight Absolu Aventus from Generic Perfumes. And since we're talking about Aventus, I mean, that's a pineapple fragrance, one of the most famous ever. Here is one of the many clones I have for Aventus. This one's still excellent and very inexpensive. This is L'Aventure from Alharamain, and it is leaning fruity in the spectrum of options for an Aventus style fragrance. Not very smoky at all, actually leans more fruity and just a little bit more of a more approachable, more mass appealing kind of a take on the Aventus DNA because of that extra fruitiness, extra sweetness. Again, L'Aventure from Alharamain. And the final two are, you know, unusual in a video like this, but this first one heavily features the note of pineapple. This one is Badi Al Oud Honor and Glory from Lattafa, and you've got sweet pineapple, you've got vanilla, you've got a creme brulee note, and you've got a strong, spicy and aromatic, fresh spicy edge to this fragrance. It's phenomenal. It smells like a $200 niche fragrance. It performs very well. It is just an excellent, quite unique fragrance that I think is an original from Lattafa. They killed it with this one, Badi Al Oud Honor and Glory. And finally, one that doesn't feature the pineapple, the guava, the mango, etc., but it's all about the watermelon, and I think this one, as a bonus, fits in this video. This is Batik from Paris Corner and Aroma Concepts. They collabed on this one. It smells like a watermelon Jolly Rancher with just the slightest green note added in there, but mostly watermelon Jolly Rancher. You know, is it a feminine fragrance? I don't know. It just smells like candy. It's not one that I have worn a lot, but I have actually mixed it with a couple of very green fragrances that I have, and that actually works very well. It's just a fun, you know, maybe wear it 4 or 5 times a year when you're going out to the beach or whatever. It's just a fun fragrance. Batik from Aroma Concepts and Paris Corner. So that has been, I think, 21, 22 tropical summer clone fragrances. What did I miss? Let me know down below. Remember also to make a tropical drink of some sort for the like button and give it a click and subscribe to the channel. I'm Justin. This is Sillage Scents.